Well, hello and welcome to This Month in Hamilton, our November 2025 edition. I want to start out, as we always do, by thanking WBCB 1490 AM for allowing us each and every month to bring you what's going on this month in Hamilton. I want to also thank our sponsors, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford, Saul Funeral Home, and Kessel Dermatology. So joining us today will be, later on will be Julie and Duncan from the Children's Home Society of New Jersey, a great organization with a facility here in Hamilton to talk about all the great programming they have going on, all the different ways they're helping our community. I had an actually opportunity a few years ago to their ribbon cutting of their facility here in Hamilton. It's right on the border of Trenton. The interesting thing is, when I parked there, I parked in Trenton and walked into Hamilton, and the mayor of Trenton parked in Hamilton and stayed in Hamilton. So it's right literally on the border, but we'll talk about their facility there and all the great things they have going on as an organization, not just now and into the future, but even the past as well. I want to start out by talking about a lot of things we have going on in Hamilton. So our municipal building continues its good progress. I know if you're driving by, it seems like every week it looks a little bit different in terms of the exterior. So a lot of the brickwork is up. A lot of the exterior sheathing is up. You're starting to see windows be put in. So those workers who are there, hopefully with each window that's put in, it's a little warmer inside as they now get into colder months. So we are still on target for fall of 2026, which is exactly when we're supposed to be targeting for a move-in date. We may even be a smidge ahead of schedule right now. So all good stuff there. The contractors and union worker building trades people that are there are doing a phenomenal job. And I know many of you enjoy seeing the progress from your cars. If you want to see progress, we've got some pictures that we put up on our website as well. And so you can kind of track some of the progress there too. I know another project many of you are very excited about. Sometimes you forget about it because you're not really seeing anything, but it continues to move in the background, is CHOP at the AMC movie theater. So we continue to work and iron out some details on a redevelopment plan with them. There's a chance we get the redevelopment plan done in December. I'd say it's probably more likely for January next year that we get it done, but all good progress in keeping that moving. It's right where we're kind of supposed to be with them at this stage of planning and designing the future of that site. We had targeted January of 26 to really kind of work on the redevelopment plan and get that introduced to council and our planning board so that there could be hearings on it and people be given an opportunity to understand what's going on. So we're right on target with that. You'll probably see first quarter next year the movie theater come down. So again, all things that we've been targeting since we announced they were coming in the summer. We continue to hit those target dates. So all good stuff there. Nothing really to share at this point in terms of details on what exactly is coming and all of that. I think we'll have a better idea as we finalize that kind of redevelopment plan and give CHOP an opportunity to talk about their vision for the site in January at some of those hearings. So like I said, maybe a chance of December, but still more likely January of next year to start that. Obviously, we had our election this year. If you remember watching in October, we talked about make sure you go out and vote. And I think so many of you listened. So we had a record or near record turnout, the highest percentage of people turning out to vote for a gubernatorial election, I think, since 2001. So almost a quarter century ago, which I think shows the level of engagement and whether your candidate won or lost at any level of government. I think by so many people coming out to vote, it certainly gives your vote and your voice some impact in the future of the township, the county, and the state. So thank you to all of you who had the opportunity and took the opportunity to vote. I think the overall process went very well. Here in Hamilton, I think our number was over 35,000 voters coming out, which again is the highest number in the last quarter century. We had, for one of our council people, I think Anthony Carabelli's the highest number of council votes in a normal cycle where you have 3 council members up. And so again, just that sheer number of people coming out to vote, I think is great and really sends a message about what people either like or don't like in the management of the town, the county, and the state. So again, for all those who voted, thank you very much. You've started to already see a wind down of any sort of road paving projects. The last projects we had going on were off Nottingham Way by St. Greg's. I think those are either fully complete, or just about to be complete in the next week or so. So we did a record number of roads this year, partially thanks to PSE&G, Aqua, organizations like that who had done some infrastructure improvements, and now we're coming back to repave those roads. The county did some as well. Obviously, the town did some too. And so hopefully you're seeing some of that. I know we may not have gotten to your particular street, but as you're driving around town, we've been able to do a lot of streets this year in terms of repaving to hopefully improve our infrastructure, but improve your drive around town as well. We also had the opportunity to do some things in Veterans Park. You'll notice a little bit of a widening of one of the main thoroughfares of Veterans Park, but also creating bike lanes, walk lanes for people as they go through the park. One of the complaints we heard a lot as it relates to e-bikes is not only e-bikes out on the street, but e-bikes through the park as well. And those bikes are quiet and they can go at a considerable speed. So while it would be difficult for our officers a lot of times to be able to patrol and stop some of those people with e-bikes in the park, at least creating some dedicated lanes hopefully reduces the chance or mitigates the chance of any collisions and accidents and injuries in Veterans Park. So we're hopeful that that project accomplishes that goal and at least keeps bikes and people in separate lanes and safe as they're enjoying the beauty of Veterans Park. We've now switched over, since we're not doing roads, we've switched over to leaf collection. So you may have already started to see in your neighborhood our public works team going around taking out or picking up the curbside leaves that you've put out. Remember, we always guarantee at least one pass through every neighborhood. So if your leaves haven't come down yet and your street has already been collected on, we often are able to get a second pass into a neighborhood. So don't sweat. Look for updates. Call Hamstad if you think you still need another pickup as well. But I've been able to watch the progress of Public Works, and we can see our ecological facility really getting full of leaves. So that's a good thing. They'll turn it into compost, and people will be able to pick it up throughout the year for composting their gardens or anything else they're working on in their house as well. Hope to see many of you coming up at the Thanksgiving game between West and Steinert. Obviously, Thanksgiving morning. It looks cold, but it looks dry, which is, I think, better than last year. I think last year or 2 years ago we had a downpour. So hope to see you out at the Thanksgiving game this year. And then right on the heels of that, we have Winter Wonderland. So Winter Wonderland, again, just like last year, Friday night from 4:30 to 7:30. And then the tree lighting at 6 p.m. And then extended hours on Saturday. So we hope, depending on what your work schedule is or what your kids' nap schedules are, you'll be able to get out to Couser Park at some point, either Friday night or during the day or night hours on Saturday, to be able to walk through the park, walk through the house, get pictures with Santa, and so see the decorations and just start to really get on the heels of coming out of Thanksgiving into the holiday spirit for December. I also know if you can't see Santa at Couser Park, really want to thank our PBA and FMBA unions, as always, for partnering together to ensure Santa gets to every single street in Hamilton Township. They put a lot of effort into it. It is volunteer hours for them to be able to do it. And so we know many of you are always excited to hear those sirens. Please follow the pages on Facebook to see when your particular neighborhood or street might see Santa. He's got a very tight schedule. As you can imagine, Santa's got to go to many places besides just Hamilton, but he always ensures that I think this year it's from December 8th to the 16th thereabouts that Santa will hit up every street in Hamilton Township. So make sure if you hear the sirens, put on some sweatpants. Please put on a sweatshirt, run outside, wave, say hello, get the kids ready to say hello. Usually starts around 5:30. So oftentimes they try to make sure they're hitting up every street and be done by 8 p.m. So we know a lot of kids are in bed by 8 p.m., so we try to make sure we're at every street before your kids go to bed. Follow the Facebook page to see when your street might be hit up. Maybe you keep them up a little bit longer, but usually it's from about 5 to 8 each evening. So all good things coming to town. If I don't see you in December, hope you have a great holiday season, a lot of exciting stuff. We're going to take our first break now. When we come back, like I said, we'll be joined by Julie and Duncan to talk about what's going on at Children's Home Society, not just in New Jersey, but here in Hamilton, and not just present, but future and past as well. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Kessel Dermatology in Hamilton Square is an award-winning dermatology practice led by Dr. Daniel Kessel, a board-certified dermatologist. He and his expert staff treat patients of all ages. They offer treatments of all types of skin, hair, and nail conditions, and annual skin cancer screenings, anti-aging treatments, ultraviolet A and B light treatments, skin tightening procedures, Botox, and other treatments that enhance your skin's overall health and appearance. Kessel Dermatology is open Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. For appointments, call 609-890-2600. That's 609-890-2600. Or visit KesselDermatology.com. They're at 1700 Whitehorse, Hamilton Square Road. Kessel Dermatology. They're good. Hamilton Township in Mercer County is fortunate to have many fine businesses that serve our community. Saul Funeral Home is a fourth-generation family-owned business proud to support our local schools and community. Their compassionate and caring staff is there for you and your family. They'll bring the closure you deserve while also celebrating the life of your loved one. Visit their website at saulfuneralhomes.com. That's saulfuneralhomes.com. Saul Funeral Home at 3795 Nottingham Way, Hamilton Square. Your vehicle is in good hands at Haldeman Collision, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. They do it all at Haldeman Collision. Minor dents and dings, bumpers, windshields, major body, and frame damage. Free estimates, 24-hour towing, most insurance accepted, and loaners available. Haldeman Collision works with all makes and models. They'll go out of their way to getting your car back in brand new condition. Haldeman Collision, conveniently located 20 minutes from Langhorne, Princeton, and Ewing on Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
Well, welcome back to This Month in Hamilton. I want to again start out by thanking our sponsors, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford, Saul Funeral Home, and Kessel Dermatology. So Julie and Duncan, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here today. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedules, especially so close to a holiday where you're trying to condense all this stuff this week and get it done before Thanksgiving. So really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
So if you could just kind of introduce yourselves, right? Julie, you go first, kind of who you are, what your role is, but kind of how your life has taken you to where you are right now.
Okay. And how much time do I have? No.
As much time as you want. You could filibuster Duncan if you want. So.
Perfect. So first, thank you so much for the invite to be here to talk about who we are and what we do. It means a lot to us. So we appreciate this forum, and hopefully everybody will get to learn something about who we are and what Children's Home Society of New Jersey does. So my name is Julie Dees. I have been really in the service industry for the majority of my career. Right out of high school, I joined the Air Force. I needed a little time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, like I think most 18-year-olds do. And it was a really great opportunity for me to kind of pause and think kind of through my life progression. And so after I left the service, I pursued a degree in psychology, ended up getting my master's in psychology. I'm a licensed professional counselor. But funny story, I'm not a very good therapist. So
I don't know if you have to admit that, you know?
well, I do. I think it's because anybody that really knows me, they're like, you'd be a terrible therapist. But what I am good at is looking at kind of organizations that have service areas to them and helping to figure out how can we serve more people, how can we do better. So very early on in my career, I kind of stumbled into administration. And so from there, I grew up with my leadership skills. I ended up, I was the director of behavioral health at Penn Medicine for a while, and there pursued my MBA. And so all of these, lots of steps along the way. And right before coming to Children's Home Society of New Jersey, I was at an agency in Bucks County that did similar services. We operated a homeless shelter in Bucks County. We had a food pantry. We did mental health services. And it was a wonderful opportunity. And I honestly wasn't looking to change jobs. But as, you know, fate would have it, this opportunity to be the next CEO at Children's Home Society of New Jersey presented itself. And as I started digging into the mission, understanding the work and the impact that Children's Home Society has, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to go for this. And so that led me to where I am today. January 1st will be my 1-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yes, very exciting. And it has been a wonderful year. I still feel like I'm just scratching the surface of all that we do because we have so many programs. We reach so many families and children. It's just incredible. Still getting to know our incredible team of staff. We employ well over 300 individuals.
Wow.
And so we are a really large nonprofit here in New Jersey, and I'm just really proud to be a part of the team. And speaking of part of the team, not too long ago, I had the opportunity to hire a chief advancement officer. And so the search began and ended with Duncan.
Thank you. Well, thank you for hiring me. I definitely
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
So far, so good.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm Duncan Harrison. I'm the chief advancement officer at the Children's Home Society of New Jersey. And I would probably say I got a start in public service pretty early. In undergraduate, I had a focus, my degree was in sociology with a focus on criminal justice. I thought I was going to be a police officer, and so I served 2 years with the Rehoboth Beach Police Department in Delaware as a seasonal police officer, and I decided that I wanted to go into the policy side, where I then got my master's in public administration, and I've hovered around nonprofit, government, and higher education. I've also served as a city councilman in the city of Trenton. And previously, before coming to the Children's Home Society of New Jersey, I was at Princeton University, where I served as an assistant director for regional affairs. But you know, just meeting Julie, knowing the great work that the Children's Home Society does, not only in this community right here, but throughout the state of New Jersey, is what attracted me to the Children's Home Society. And we continue to do great things every day. So
We
super
do.
excited. Yes.
Awesome. In some ways, you probably have more of an impact in this current role as Chief Advancement Officer on the betterment of families and kids in Trenton than even Trenton City Council, right? So as one Air Force veteran to another then,
All right.
thank you very much for your service,
Thank
too.
you for your service.
Where were you stationed?
I was in Ramstein, Germany for a couple years, and then I was in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Okay, awesome. I got to do all 4 of my years in England at Milden Hall and Lake and Heath.
Wow, wonderful.
I got to do cases at Ramstein, so a great place to be as well.
Absolutely.
Huge. I mean, I would get lost when I would go there. So.
Huge base.
Yes, I'm sure you did too. So talk a little bit, and Julie, I'll go to you first, and you can turn it over to Duncan kind of whenever you want. What is Children's Home Society of New Jersey for those people who may not know, right?
That is a great question. I think one that we are still trying to simmer down into that elevator pitch. We are a large social service agency, and really our mission is to save children's lives and nurture healthy families. And that's, of course, a very broad mission. But really it starts, we have services that start from preconception. Moms can come in and get pregnancy testing all the way through the life cycle. So we deal with grandparents that are now kinship caretakers of their grandchildren or other family members. And so there's really a large continuum of services. So wanting to work with families even before their baby's born to ensure they have a healthy pregnancy, a healthy delivery, and then get their kids started right on the right foot, with parenting classes, with positive parenting skills. And then that can also feed into we run the early Head Start and Head Start centers. We have 7?
Yes.
7 different facilities. The one that you were speaking of earlier, that's the Early Head Start Center, which is just such a wonderful facility and a place where parents can take their kids, know their kids are being cared for well, so that they are able to then get a job, not have to worry about missing work, right? So all of these things that we're doing with kids feeds into not just helping kids be healthy and have a great start in life, which is so critical to, future contributions to our community, but also making sure their parents have what they need so that they can focus on also doing what they need to do to bring in a paycheck, to make sure food's on the table, and to just set their family up in general to be stronger and healthier.
So you say, we hear so many times people talk about the first few years of a child's life are so formative, right?
Yes.
But often it's the part of their life even before they're born that can be so formative as well, right? And
100%.
We see the impacts of fetal alcohol syndrome and what smoking can do and drug use can do, right? And so it's so great that you guys have taken an even further whole life concept kind of thing in saying we need to get mothers in, not even before birth, but sometimes even before conception.
Absolutely, right. Because even what you're doing, if you're trying to get pregnant, you want to be thinking about what am I doing today that can help me help my baby get the best start in life from day one.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty robust community doula program. And so, working with a large Spanish-speaking population, Black and brown moms that we look at health disparities in our community, and these are the women really impacted. So our community doula program is really able to do this, let's get this baby started off right from day one. Let's make sure mom's engaged, going to her prenatal visits. Let's talk to her about breastfeeding and the importance of it. And let's not forget dads, pulling in the dads and helping them to understand their role in creating a healthy pregnancy, a healthy start from day one.
Yeah, healthy environment.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I know I was speaking about the Trenton facility and we talked about that a little bit, right? But give me kind of a little bit of a history, right? Because it's not, while you've got a local place here in Hamilton, it's not solely in Hamilton. You're Children's Home Society of New Jersey, not just of Mercer County, right?
Right. And if I falter here, I know you're even more new than I am, but still fill in what I leave out because I'm still learning. So yes, our headquarters is in Trenton. And we do a lot of work in the Trenton area, but we also have a couple different offices in Ocean County and other sites throughout the Trenton-Hamilton area. And so, let's see, what am I forgetting about our locations?
Right, so we also have 2 offices in Ewing as well.
Yes.
We run the North Ward Family Success Center, which is technically, I guess, in Trenton, but if you're familiar with the KFC on Princeton Pike, we're right across the street from there. And so we service 11 different counties throughout the state of New Jersey, and we're also in Eastern PA as well. So we are very grounded in the community, but we have a very widespread net of services that we offer throughout the state. So.
Awesome. And it's not just, 5 or 10 years that Children's Home Society has been operating, right?
Correct.
How long roughly has it been?
It's been 131 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we were founded in 1894.
Wow.
So we are a well-established agency that has grown tremendously throughout the years. In fact, we were the first licensed adoption agency in New Jersey, and now we are continued to be a licensed adoption agency in Jersey, but also in Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. And Duncan, you said something, right? I think so much is there's blurred lines between what's Trenton, what's Hamilton, what's Trenton, what's Ewing, right? What's Trenton, what's Lawrence.
Right.
And so, I know you said your headquarters is Trenton, but your reach, forget even Ocean County and things like that, just I'm talking kind of locally, your reach extends far beyond any single border that way too.
Yes, definitely. We service a lot of different neighborhoods and communities. So we have over 350 staff. We service over 70. Well, we touch over 70,000 people.
Wow.
A year, and so that's a number that we are proud of, and we have a great staff that is on the ground every day, working with families, changing lives, and getting it done.
That's awesome. So take me through, you're seeing a mom come in, even post-conception, right? They come in, maybe they need help. What should I be eating? What should I be doing right now that I'm pregnant? What's that like? And I know you've only been there a year, right? But to kind of maybe see that journey, your staff has probably talked about it, right? See that journey of mom coming in, then baby coming, then baby growing up, maybe being in the Head Start program. It's got to be a very rewarding experience to go through that.
Oh, absolutely. And so, yes, so we have a lot of different services along the way to get moms set up. And even from the point where, let's say mom comes in and takes a pregnancy test and is surprised that she is pregnant, we have counseling services available to be like, okay, you're pregnant. Let's talk about this. Let's get you kind of emotionally in the right space to be ready to welcome this baby. And so, we operate the WIC program in Mercer County. So that's a resource that we have for families, as well as Duncan mentioned, our Family Success Centers. So as part of that, there's nutrition classes, there's budgeting classes, there's kind of baby essentials, like baby 101 kind of stuff, and what to expect along the journey of your pregnancy, what are healthy milestones. So, that's kind of getting moms set up to deliver. And then we have baby showers where moms will get essential equipment for those first couple weeks, right? You get car seats, you get your pack and play, you get, we talk about how do babies need to sleep in what positions. Just really trying to give them the tools and the confidence to start this journey from day one in a good space, because even for those of us that have babies under the most ideal situations, it is really hard. You're sleep deprived. Everything seems new. You're afraid you're going to break your baby. I mean, it is very difficult to be a new parent. And so I love the fact that we're able to give moms the confidence to feel like, what, I got this. We're gonna be okay. So once we get our babies up and started, like you said, we have other programs along the way. We hope that families will stay involved in our Family Success Centers as a resource, as a tool, and it's also a way to build community. Lots of programming and activities that bring moms and dads together so they start to build their own natural support system with one another.
Awesome.
And then there's Head Start, so we can help get our folks enrolled in Head Start, get them off to an early start, work with the parents on, gainful employment. Do we need to increase educational skills, whatever it is, to really set the whole family up to be successful.
Awesome. Well, we got to take our first break.
Okay.
I know that was a lot, and there's still more to talk about, but we'll be back in just a moment.
Your vehicle is in good hands at Haldeman Collision, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. They do it all at Haldeman Collision. Minor dents and dings, bumpers, windshields, major body, and frame damage. Free estimates, 24-hour towing, most insurance accepted, and loaners available. Haldeman Collision works with all makes and models. They'll go out of their way to getting your car back in brand new condition. Haldeman Collision, conveniently located 20 minutes from Langhorne, Princeton, and Ewing on Route 33 in Hamilton Township. Capital Health's primary care network continues to grow, bringing its extensive option of locations to your neighborhood. Whether you're scheduling a wellness checkup or not feeling well, advanced medicine starts with a Capital Health primary care doctor at locations near you in Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. To find a Capital Health primary care location that's convenient for you, visit capitalmedicalgroup.org. That's capitalmedicalgroup.org. Kessel Dermatology in Hamilton Square is an award-winning dermatology practice led by Dr. Daniel Kessel, a board-certified dermatologist. He and his expert staff treat patients of all ages. They offer treatments of all types of skin, hair, and nail conditions, and annual skin cancer screenings, anti-aging treatments, ultraviolet A and B light treatments, skin tightening procedures, Botox, and other treatments that enhance your skin's overall health and appearance. Kessel Dermatology is open Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. For appointments, call 609-890-2600. That's 609-890-2600. Or visit KesselDermatology.com. They're at 1700 Whitehorse, Hamilton Square Road. Kessel Dermatology, They're good.
Well, welcome back to This Month in Hamilton. Want to again start out by thanking our sponsors, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford, Saul Funeral Home, and Kessel Dermatology. So, you take from that preconception moment all the way through early Head Start, right? That's a lot of resources. It's a lot of time. I know you talked about hundreds of employees, right? Where do you get the money from to be able to do all this? And to do it for 130 plus years now, too.
Great question. So we rely a lot on government grants. Most of our programs are grant funded. So we have federal grants, state grants, local grants, also involved with some of our community foundations, private foundations that really support our work, that share a vision and what it is that we're doing and want to keep going with the things that we do. So that really makes up the majority of our funding. We're grateful that we've been so successful in securing these grants and that the government, whether it be federal or state, local, there's a recognition that what we do really matters. Even the current administration, I mean, we want healthy babies, we want healthy families. And so we've felt good in that way. However, just like every other nonprofit out there right now, we are worried because it seems that from day to day, what the priorities are shifting a little bit, or it's becoming more difficult to stay aligned necessarily with what we think those priorities are. So we've done a lot of looking at the grants that we have, trying to think of, do we need to diversify a little bit in the types of funding that we're getting, which I think is there again, all nonprofits should be looking at how are we diversifying our funding, can we generate program revenue? That's a nice way to support some unrestricted funding. These are all things that we're looking at closely as a leadership team, as well as our board of directors.
So in terms of advancement, right, do you touch on fundraising, Duncan?
Definitely. All day, every day.
A little bit.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And so I think that, when we talk about fundraising, what's important to us is meeting people that believe in our mission, right? And then people that, also want to show their generosity to what we do, right? Because, every dollar that comes into us, really goes back into the work that we do, and it goes right back into the community and the people that we serve. And so, meeting and connecting with individuals that care about our mission is very important to us.
And I imagine part of your pitch is, we keep talking about early success in a child's life making a big difference. It's an investment.
Absolutely.
And it may not be an investment in a 529 or some other kind of savings plan for a child, right? But that investment early on is going to lead to all sorts of not only healthier, but emotionally stable
100%.
and educational success later on too.
100%. And I think, so before I came to Children's Home Society, a lot of my work in my career had been working with adults that were addicted to substances, that had untreated mental health issues, that had trauma from gun violence in their communities, homelessness, food insecurity. And one of the big appeals to coming to Children's Home Society was the ability to get downstream from all of those things, right? Because we talk about these really difficult community issues, gun violence, homelessness, right? How do we solve that? It's not another homeless shelter. There are lots of ways we can approach gun violence that I'm not going to mention. However, what it really comes down to is, how do we start families differently? How do we prevent it from getting to the point where those things are happening? And I think so much of it, if we look at intergenerational trauma and the things that plague families year after year, decade after decade, if we could get out in front of that and start kids and families off healthy, we're going to see a reduction in gun violence. We're going to see a decrease in homelessness. And so that was so powerful for me. And I think about, if you're talking about making an investment and you're thinking about what are the causes I care about, if you look at investing in a child's future and creating healthy families and communities, not only are you helping that particular family, but you're helping to address all the larger societal problems that we feel like we don't know the answer to. And so this is the answer. I'm convinced this is the answer.
Absolutely. And it goes, as we're on the essentially Thanksgiving Eve, right? Food insecurity is a big part of that as well, right? And making sure you can't have your brain grow if you're not feeding it, right? And so hangry is a real word. I don't care if it's in Webster's dictionary or not, right?
I think it actually is now.
It is. It's finally time they recognized it, right? But, there's all sorts of emotional instability when you're hungry, right? And so all those things, especially at a young age when kids aren't able to regulate emotions and behaviors and things like that, all kind of comes together. So besides just grants, like how can people help, right?
Definitely. So I think, well, first and foremost, Giving Tuesday is coming up on December 2nd. So, we ask everyone if you can, I guess from my mouth to your listeners' ears, go to Children's Home Society of New Jersey's webpage at www.chsofnj.org. We also have our Adopt a Child campaign where we have a wish list of over 1,300 children from families that we serve who want to enjoy the holidays but may not, have the resources to, have the things that you and I have. And so we've already acquired about 900 gifts for some of the families.
Wow.
But we have about 1,500 children on this list. So if you, to your listeners out there, we can use more gifts. And if you can't give, volunteer your time, right? I think there's nothing more fulfilling than actually working, with the individuals that we serve on a day-to-day basis, and just being able to see the smiles of the children, the smiles of the parents, and hear the stories of how we're impacting people on a day-to-day.
So if people have toys, my wife's trunk right now is pretty full of toys. We've already been hit up for a number of toy drives, right? And drop off another. Where can they drop it off, or do they just make a donation? I mean, how do they do that?
Yeah, so they can come to our main,
Our headquarters?
Our headquarters, yes. And let me get that, and I'll get that address for you. They can come drop the toys off.
I know that address. I do.
Okay.
I've been there almost a year now, and I drive there every day. So
it's one of those things when you have it memorized, then you just forget it, right?
Exactly. So it's 635 South Clinton Avenue in Trenton.
Yes, inside of the Roland Market, so they can come in and drop off toys, or they can give us a call ahead of time, and to set up a time to come drop those toys off as well.
And I'm sure you take monetary donations as well,
Yes.
and all of that.
Of course.
Yes.
And you talked about all your employees, but you mentioned volunteers, right? So what kind of volunteer activities do you have for people who, want to volunteer their time and want to give back and believe in the mission, right?
Definitely. So we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities. One throughout our school-based programs, as well as through our Head Start programs, where they come and read to some of the scholars that we have within Head Start. They can also come in and work with our Kuno program and some of our moms that are expecting as well. So we have a lot of different opportunities at the Children's Home Society of New Jersey where people can volunteer.
And if for folks that are interested, they can go to our website. There's a volunteer section where you can go.
Perfect.
You can request information. You can also provide your information, and then we'll have one of our team members reach out to talk about the various opportunities.
Yep.
So to your point, there's a lot to learn in your first year. Not
There is
only
a lot to learn.
between employees, but then adding volunteers and then funding and all the different types of categories, I'll say, right, to help kids out in their early part of their life. How's that first year been?
It's been wonderful, and it's been a huge growth opportunity for me in my professional development. I've been in related fields throughout my career, but there's a lot that we do at CHS of New Jersey that was brand new to me. Head Start, for example. That's something that's brand new and something that's so easy to fall in love with when you see the impact that Head Start has. But that's not to take away from any of the other programs that we have. There's a lot of learning to do. I've also really been given the opportunity. CHS of New Jersey is the most diverse agency I've ever worked in. We have a lot of people that English is not their first language. And it's been a great opportunity for me to practice cultural humility, to learn more about the cultures that we serve, the staff that we employ. And so I've really appreciated that as well. It's just been great. But it also, I look back and I cannot believe that in a month it'll have been a year. It's been slow at times and also extremely fast.
It's the word you probably haven't used is overwhelming sometimes
I'm
too,
trying to
right?
avoid the overwhelming, but yes, there are 100% days where it feels overwhelming. But the great thing is that I'm not doing this alone. In fact, I have a wonderful team around me, from my senior leadership team throughout every level of the organization, people that are passionate about the work. They care deeply about our mission. And so
And I'm sure board members who are part of that too, right?
yeah, board members that are deeply engaged and also in love with our mission. And so it's, even at the moments where I have felt overwhelmed, I've never felt alone.
Yeah. And as Duncan said, seeing the smiles on kids' faces, there's no better medicine to a
100%.
difficult day, right?
Yes.
Than seeing a kid smiling 2, 3, 4 years old, whatever it is, to
Yes.
just lift your spirits that way too.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I think that echoes the point of, we have Giving Tuesday now for a reason, and whether it's Tuesday or not, or just any day that people can contribute, you can see where that money's going, right?
Right, absolutely.
Definitely.
And I think, did you mention the Red Stocking campaign? I think
did
you
not.
may have. So if you go to our website, kind of a banner that'll pop up is, this is the end of the year. We always do a Red Stocking giving campaign, which is one of our biggest fundraising drives, and extremely meaningful to us, to bring in necessary dollars that fill in the gaps that the government grants just don't cover.
Sure.
And that's where the community can really step in and make a huge difference in the lives of the kids that we serve.
No dollars too few, right?
100%.
Yeah. So, we talked how you're getting this money, but you're also taking steps, God forbid, you lose some of the money. And I don't want to harp on that, but you've got to be prepared as an organization to be
Pivot.
adept, right? And pivot and all of that too, right? So coming in your first year, that's certainly, I'm sure, been a challenge as well.
It really has been. It was, I think, I don't even know if it was a full month after I'd started that there was that. Do you remember the time that we got the executive orders that all the grants were going to be frozen, and then
Piecemeal, they kind of
yes, and
loosened it. Yeah.
That situation changed from day to day.
Oh, yeah.
Literally from day to day. And so the team would huddle and be like, okay, well, this is, I think, the strategy we need to take. The next morning, we got to huddle again because we got to think of a new.
Right.
So it's really kept all of us on our toes. But yes, thinking strategically about if kind of playing out some of those what if scenarios. Not that you can what if things to death, but there's a level of it that needs to happen just so that you're prepared, because keeping our staff employed is really top of mind for those of us on the senior team as well as our board, and still showing up for our families.
Yeah.
In the midst of uncertainty, our families are already struggling and dealing with a lot of uncertainty in their life. We want to still feel like the constant. We
The
want to feel
stability.
like they can still show up at our door, and we're going to be there, willing to help, able to help with the resources that they need.
Absolutely. Well, we got to take our last break, but when we come back, we'll finish up with Julie and Duncan and talk about some amazing stories from Children's Home Society. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Hamilton Township in Mercer County is fortunate to have many fine businesses that serve our community. Saul Funeral Home is a fourth-generation family-owned business proud to support our local schools and community. Their compassionate and caring staff is there for you and your family. They'll bring the closure you deserve while also celebrating the life of your loved one. Visit their website at saulfuneralhomes.com. That's saulfuneralhomes.com. Saul Funeral Home at 3795 Nottingham Way, Hamilton Square. Your vehicle is in good hands at Haldeman Collision, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. They do it all at Haldeman Collision. Minor dents and dings, bumpers, windshields, major body, and frame damage. Free estimates, 24-hour towing, most insurance accepted, and loaners available. Haldeman Collision works with all makes and models. They'll go out of their way to getting your car back in brand new condition. Haldeman Collision, conveniently located 20 minutes from Langhorne, Princeton, and Ewing on Route 33 in Hamilton Township. Capital Health's primary care network continues to grow, bringing its extensive option of locations to your neighborhood. Whether you're scheduling a wellness checkup or not feeling well, advanced medicine starts with a Capital Health primary care doctor at locations near you in Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. To find a Capital Health primary care location that's convenient for you, visit capitalmedicalgroup.org. That's capitalmedicalgroup.org.
Well, welcome back to This Month in Hamilton. Want to again start out by thanking our sponsors, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford, Saul Funeral Home, and Kessel Dermatology. Now, I know you've got a very powerful story to share about Children's Home Society, but before we get to that, I actually had another question. You talked about how your grants come federal, state, local partners, right? Do you partner with other nonprofits, right? I mean, because you think about somebody kind of going through with the family, they may have a host of other needs. They may have a host of other complications in their life, right? So what's that kind of been like in partnering with other nonprofits that way?
That's a great question. And I can tell you that there's a long history of Children's Home Society partnering with so many wonderful nonprofits in the area. I know that, so for example, the domestic violence shelter, we often have times that we partner with them. Moms may be staying there because they've left a violent home situation, and the shelter will reach out to us and say, hey, we have a new mom. I think they might benefit from your services. We'll do the intake. We'll get connected. They'll join our family success centers, as well as any other resources that we possibly have. There's the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen, right? So active partnership there. You mentioned Capital Health. They're a great sponsor of ours. Not that they're necessarily a nonprofit in the same way, but it's still a community partner and, community focus. I think if I were to pull out all of our memorandums of understanding that we have with various, I'm sure there'd be a big stack of them on the table, because the problems are so unique. Every family, their challenges are unique, and there is not one agency that could ever meet all the needs of a family. And so we absolutely have to rely on our partners, right? We all do certain things really well, and then other people do things well. And so we need to know when to ask for support. And it also models, I think, for families. It's important to know sometimes when you need to ask for a little bit additional support. And so there's a rich relationship with our other nonprofits.
Definitely. Although we do a lot, we don't do it all. And I think that, having that network of nonprofits that we can all call on each other to kind of share those resources, to give families, once again, the tools that they need to be successful is very important. And so it is a deep and rich consortium that works together to kind of make sure that we're serving everyone who needs help.
And the phrase is it takes a village, right? But Duncan, especially in your role as a former city council member, you got to see kind of it from a 50,000 foot level, right? So you may know of other nonprofits, right, that maybe you don't have those MOUs with when you started, but hey, I know of this organization that can fit this gap, right, in kind of care, right? Definitely. So that's got to be an added boost to what you can bring.
No, definitely. And I think also what's important for us as well is just not even working with some of the larger nonprofits, which we do, but some of those budding, up-and-coming grassroots nonprofits that, we try to work with to make sure that, we're interacting and touching different areas of the community that would not necessarily get the services that they need.
That's awesome. So for 130 years plus, right, you've had various success stories, but nothing quite tells a good story about an organization about one or two success stories. I know you've got one that you want to share, so fill us in a little bit about it.
I do, and there could be hundreds of success stories ranging from every single program that we do. But so November is National Adoption Month, and so I thought it would be great to highlight a success story from our adoption program. And also,
tell us a little bit about the adoption program first.
Sure.
Right?
So like I said, we were the first licensed adoption agency in New Jersey. So we've been around for a long time and doing this for a long time. And I'd like to say that we are a very unique adoption agency. It's not the focus of what we do. I think all of our programs really kind of share the spotlight, and they all work together so closely. But our adoption program is about so much more than just placing an infant with another family. We do so much counseling ahead of time. From the time we think that a mom isn't sure if she's ready to parent, we have a counselor that will work with her to talk through all of her options. And I can tell you the majority of the time after going through counseling, that mom decides she wants to parent her child, oftentimes with the help of a relative or a parent, but it can be really scary if you're not expecting to bring a new life into this world.
Sure.
And so the fact that from day one we're able to, there again, it goes back to support, right? We're able to support that mom and be like, let's talk through the different choices. And then if after that mom's like, I just don't think I'm ready to parent right now, which is absolutely okay, we can help guide that mom through the loving decision of placing her baby with us for adoption. And the other avenue of this that we work with the local hospitals. And so, sometimes there are pregnant individuals that show up at a hospital and no one in their family even knew they were pregnant. And so the social worker there again at the hospitals are able to counsel the mom and say, you know what, let me make a phone call to Children's Home Society. We'll have our counselor come over. And so we can start from there, helping a mom make that thoughtful choice. And so from the beginning, we're there, and then throughout the process, we counsel mom all through the placement, even after the placement. And then we also work with the adoptive family about that choice. And then we are always a resource to that family throughout the years. Where once people work with us, you're with us for life. You're part of our family. And so I think that's the beauty of what highlights. I think that is highlighted in this story that I'm about to share.
Please.
Okay.
You set it up perfectly.
Thank you. Okay, so I call this one a reunion 60 years in the making. At 80 years old, Jane reached out to the Children's Home Society of New Jersey to search for her daughter, whom she had placed for adoption through the agency in the 60s. With the support of the adoption search and reunion worker, Jane received counseling to help her process her emotions and prepare for the many possible outcomes of the search. Within just 1 month, the worker successfully located her daughter, Jill. I want to say the names were changed to protect privacy. Jill was also provided with counseling to help her navigate the emotions that came with this unexpected outreach. She shared that she had often thought about her birth mother and had even considered searching herself. Although she was initially hesitant, Jill expressed interest in learning more and taking the process slowly. With guidance from the adoption worker, Jane wrote a heartfelt letter of introduction and included photos, which were forwarded to Jill. Deeply moved, Jill later replied with her own letter and a photo of herself, writing, "There is so much emotion to process after receiving the letter and pictures. Thank you for allowing this connection to happen slowly. I did not realize how impactful the photos would be for me." Over the next month, Jane and Jill exchanged letters and photos through the adoption worker, sharing stories about their families and grandchildren. Jill expressed that she believed everything had unfolded at the right time, right into her birth mother. "I cannot imagine the difficulty of your decision back in 1960. You acted upon what you believed was best for me, and I am forever grateful. I am glad now to have the opportunity to tell you so." Eventually, they exchanged phone numbers and agreed to meet in person, spending several meaningful days together with their partners. Reflecting on the experience, Jill shared, "I met a stranger on Monday morning and said goodbye to a family member on Thursday afternoon." Their bond continues to grow through regular calls, texts, and visits. Jane reflected, "Through this process, I learned so much about my family's dynamics and found understanding and forgiveness. It was truly healing." Jill added, "I've found the missing pieces of my identity. I know now that I was wanted and loved, and that my mother did what she thought was best for me. Now we move forward, count our blessings, and build our relationship, not looking back, but ahead, with love and gratitude."
Well, I certainly have goosebumps after that story, right?
I teared up in my office the first time I got the story, and I still I read it at our board meeting last week, and I got choked up reading it.
Wow.
But I think it shows the uniqueness of everybody's life experience,
100%.
right? And how much an organization like Children's Home Society has to be adept and flexible to, fill and address whatever that unique moment is in somebody's life.
Absolutely, and without judgment.
Yeah.
Right? There's just, you got to leave judgment at the door.
Yeah.
And I see that in the work we do. There's just such love and caring and acceptance for every family, for every story, for every situation.
Yeah, because everybody's life is unique in and of
100%.
itself, right?
100%.
And so to have such an amazing success story like that, right?
Yes.
And not everyone's planned to be like that, but that certainly was one. And I think kudos to your team, right, for understanding that from the start, right, and starting by counseling the mom on, we don't know where this is going, right?
Right, exactly.
So what, last question really, your workers, right, your employees, what training do they have to go? Just briefly.
Right. I mean,
because to be able to manage a situation like that is difficult.
Very difficult. And there is a lot of, all of our programs really have different requirements for their types of training. As you can imagine, Head Start teachers get a very different sort of training than our behavioral health counselors. So the counselor that works in our adoption program, she is a licensed clinical social worker. So she has a master's degree. She sat for state licensure. So she is a professional counselor in that sense. And she has worked most of her career in this sort of field. And so she is extremely skilled at this work, which, as you can imagine, is very nuanced.
Yeah.
But she really brings such a compassion to the work. And so, thinking about compassion training and cultural competence and humility and all of that is part of, all of our staff receive those sorts of trainings, because regardless of the program we're working in, that's such a necessary skill. But our adoption workers, our director of our adoption program has been with us for a very long time, extremely skilled. And there are specific, if you're a licensed adoption agency, as you can imagine, there are very specific trainings and competencies you need to be able to demonstrate. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything about training.
But I think it just shows, and I don't mean to cut you off, right, but how much you have to manage, right, as the CEO of such a diverse organization. So kudos to you, and both of you for doing it. We've got to wrap up here,
okay.
But any final words you want our listeners to know about Children's Home Society of New Jersey?
Just thank you. Thank you for having us. If you've never heard of us before, I think one of the things we're trying to do is stop being the best kept secret.
Right.
We really should be seen as a resource for every family, for every situation. And if your heart has been pulled and moved, I ask you to visit our website, chsofnewjersey.org. Look at the opportunities to participate, whether that be through a financial gift or a donation of your time and talents. Anything, we just love to get to know you better.
Yes, perfectly said.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you both sharing your time, like I said, in a condensed week before Thanksgiving to come here, speak to our listeners, and as you said, just stop being that best kept secret, right? Because before the ribbon cutting that we had on Hamilton Avenue here in Hamilton, I didn't know about Children's Home Society, right? And so that's certainly what this platform is meant for, is to awareness, right, and education. So really want to thank you both for taking your time individually, but as an organization in coming here today, and keep doing the great work that you're doing. And we appreciate it, and I appreciate it. And thank you to all of you for listening. I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. If I don't talk to you, we're not going to do a show in December. So happy holidays, happy New Year. We may do an adoption show. I know you all love those too. If you're looking for maybe a pet for a loved one, or a special gift for a loved one that becomes a pet. But want to thank WBCB 1490 AM and our sponsors, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford, Saul Funeral Home, and Kessel Dermatology. And with that, we'll see you in 2026.